All right, good evening. It's Monday, December 2nd, and we have a treat in store, and she's in for a treat because we do have the best team ever. But my friend in this Juice Plus mission, Leti Algeri, who lives out on the East Coast somewhere, and she is always full of energy and enthusiasm for this. And I will tell you, as I've gotten to know Leti over the last 2 years, she really manages her time and is serious about this. And I think that's an extraordinary combination of she's fun, she's spontaneous, she's energetic, but she also treats her business like a business. And she can tell you it pays her like a business. So she's going to teach us tonight how to be productive, not busy. Leti is a wife, she's a mom, her children are beautiful. She's got a ton of talent and accomplishment in her background. So we are so fortunate to have her in the Juice Plus company with us. And if you guys have questions, I asked her to talk about 20 minutes tonight and to open it up for Q&A at the end, because I think you're going to get some really wonderful nuggets from her, and you may have a couple of things you want to ask her at the end. So that being said, Leti, welcome to our team Healthy Bodies USA and our team Storytellers Monday Night Call.
Well, thank you. That was so sweet. I really appreciate that. A little overkind, but hopefully I can fill those shoes for you guys. Everybody see my screen? Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right, let's hide that. So here's what's really funny. I speak a lot about being busy versus productive and being effective with my time. And the truth is, I'm not good at it. I really am not. So it's funny that I'd be speaking about it, but it's something that I've worked really hard to get good at. So I feel like for those people who aren't good at it, I feel you. I get it. It's not something that some people are born with it. I wasn't. But it's something that you can easily learn and you can easily put into your practice and into your business. And when you do, you'll be like, oh my gosh, look how much easier life is, right? I'm not spinning my wheels like crazy. So trust me that if you're not, I don't want to say not organized, but if you feel like you waste a lot of time, there is hope for everyone. So let's just jump right in. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day, right? We actually have 1,440 minutes in a day. How come some people can build massive businesses and accomplish incredible goals? Like there are many people out there that own multiple businesses, write books, speak, travel around the world. And yet there's some of us who are like, I just want 5 customers this month. Like, I don't get it. What's the discrepancy? You know, we all have the same amount of time. And so what it really comes down to is figuring out what your priorities or what your goals are and being really, really consistent with those. Okay, so this is what my home list looks like. Probably similar to yours, right? Like cooking, cleaning, food shopping, being present for my kids, and laundry, right? We're all on the same page. So now somebody throw out some ideas for your Juice Plus business.
Event planning.
Okay, what else?
Event follow-up.
Okay. Anyone else? Give me one more.
Phone calls.
Okay. Good. So similar to what I have here too, maybe like I need new customers. I need to plan events. I need to maintain the customers I have. I need social media. I need to build my team. Does that seem like things that you guys would work on that would be your priorities? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we're going to hold on to this and we're going to revisit this in like 2 minutes. But Reagan, if you can click to the next slide, but only click once because it's animated. Maybe twice. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about rocks. And I want you to think about this. If I were to give you on a table some big, nice, chunky, like river rocks and a bunch of gravel and a bunch of sand, and I give you a mason jar, I want you to think about how you would put all of those things to fit into one big mason jar. So go ahead, you can click it. If you just throw it all in there, it's not going to fit. I put, in this case, the sand went in first, the gravel, and then the big rocks. Now click one more time. But if you put your big rocks first, so you have your big rocks, which would be your big priorities, you put those in first, then you could scatter in smaller priorities or smaller things by the pebbles. And then even the tiniest little things that need to get done that are kind of like on your to-do list, but are not those priorities, can sprinkle in and fill in all those gaps. So when you think about, because I know for me, sometimes I have so many things going on and I get overwhelmed. And I'm like, well, what should I tackle first? This is important and that's important and that's important. And then I always think, all right, Leti, big rocks first. Like, what is truly going to move my business forward the quickest? And they say that 80% of our success is due to 20% of our actions. You just need to figure out what that 20% is. So if you can click one more time, maybe two more times. Yep, so we're gonna do big rocks first. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none at all. I want you to think about that. If you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Because what does the definition of priority mean? It means that it stands alone or it's super important. Well, if you have 20 things that are super important, then by definition, nothing's really that important, right? So I always laugh. I should look around that my daughter's not here, but she has what she calls her special shelf. And she will put everything, not so much now, when she was a little younger, she'd be like, this is on my special shelf, and this wrapper goes on my special shelf, and this rock, and this, and it was like everything went on the special shelf. And one day I was like, Jules, if everything's on your special shelf, nothing's that special, because you need to earn to be on that special shelf, right? So think about it that way as well when it comes to your priorities. If you have too many, it waters them all down. So go ahead, let's click one more time and let's revisit this chart. I want you to look, you should probably have 3 to 5 things on each side. I want you to go back and I want you to cross off 2 items. So from my 5, I want it crossed down to 3 on each side of what my true, real work needs to be. What is that? 20% that's going to yield me 80% of the success. So take about 30 seconds, just cross off 2 things. Okay, go ahead and click it for me one time. I got rid of cleaning. Does that mean that my house is filthy? No, it means that I chose to pay somebody to clean my house for me. I no longer spend 6 to 7 hours cleaning my house. I pay somebody to do it. And the amount that I pay them, I can make a heck of a lot more money if I'm diligent and intentional with my time. If I'm dilly-dallying, then no, I might as well clean my own house. But if I'm going to take those hours and really be intentional, in 5 hours, I can make more than the $100 that I pay to have my house cleaned. So I don't do it anymore. So go ahead, click the next one. Laundry. Do we all walk around with dirty clothing? No. We have all worked together as a family. My husband pitches in, my kids pitch in. I may do a little bit of it, but it doesn't fall on my shoulders. So though getting rid of those 2 things, I don't love that. I don't love to clean and I don't love to do laundry. I'll be quite honest. But what is really important for me is the way I feed my family and being present for my kids. As a parent, that's my number 1 thing. Everything else could fall around me, but if I'm there for my kids, I feel like I'm doing a good job. That's the 20% that's yielding me the 80%, okay? Now, if you look at my Juice Plus business, I need new customers, I need events, I need to maintain my customers, social media and team building. It's kind of hard to get rid of any of that, isn't it? Like, what am I gonna get rid of? So go ahead and click and let's see what I got rid of. I got rid of events and one more, social media. Now, I know everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. I do events all the time and I post on social media all the time. But hear me out. What is my core responsibility or my goals in Juice Plus? New customers, taking care of my customers, and team building. That's it. Those events help those 3 things. That social media helps those 3 things. But at the end of the day, what is the core of my business? Customers, and team building. I'm not an event planner, right? My job is not to make a beautiful, perfect little event that's like all Pinterest. No, my responsibility is to get new customers and old customers and team all together. Same thing with social media. Yes, it's an important tool, but I'm not a social media, that's not my job. My job isn't a social media expert. I use social media to get these 3 things accomplished. Does that make sense? Yeah, a little bit? Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Let's flip to the next one. So now we have to protect our priorities. Step number 1, figure out what your goals are. Figure out what your priorities are. Now let's talk about how we're going to keep them so that we can protect them essentially. All right, here we go. One more, click again. So here's a bunch of quotes. I want you to read them as they come up on the screen. I refuse to please others at the expense of my emotional well-being, even if it means saying no to people who are used to hearing yes. Click again. It's only by saying no that you can concentrate on the things that are really important. That's Steve Jobs. Go ahead, next. We have limits to our time, energy, and interests. One more. Every time you say yes, you are actually saying no to something else. So somebody take a guess. What do you think our first tool is that we need to learn to do? What are we learning to say?
Say no.
Saying no. How'd you guess? All right, go ahead. Click again. My favorite one, and it kind of, it was like this epiphany when I said, if I say yes to something, I'm saying no to something else. I can't say yes to 2 things because physically, time-wise, I can't do it. I can't do 2 things at the same time, right? So if I'm saying yes to volunteering at the PTA, which is totally great, if that's your priority, that's what you want to do. I'm not putting it down. I spend hours and hours in the PTA. I am saying no to something else. I could be saying no to food shopping. I could be saying no to growing my business. I could be saying no to a networking breakfast. What am I saying no to? So just make sure when you say yes, that there's not something that you're taking away from yourself. Okay, go ahead, click one more time. So just learn to say no. All right, let's keep clicking. So that's number 1, super simple. You're not gonna hurt anyone's feelings. If it doesn't serve you and it doesn't bring you closer to your goals, then just say no, thank you. That's it. Multitasking. So as women, and I feel like most of us are women, maybe there was a man in here somewhere, but mostly women, we are told like, we should multitask. This is what women do. We're really good at it. Well, guess what? Our brains are not wired to multitask well. And in fact, every time we switch, so if you're doing something and then you're like, oh, well, let me also do this, you're losing focus and cognitive ability. Every time you switch from task to task, you are going backwards. Because, for example, you're working on something, you're creating content, you have this great post, you're ready to do it, the phone rings. And now you're talking on the phone. When you come back to this, you're like, wait, where was I? Right? So do not multitask. And I'm going to give you a quick tip. Go ahead, click on the next slide. There's something called a Pomodoro timer. It's somebody that decided to take one of these tomato timers and he created this concept. And it's super, super simple. First, and you can keep clicking as I speak because there's like a whole bunch of them. You're going to pick on the task that needs to be done. So maybe your task is, like, for example, I have an event Sunday. So my task today was, for the next 25 minutes, all I'm going to do is invite to this event. Okay. So I set a timer for 25 minutes. I just do it on my phone. I don't really have a special fancy timer. I actually tell Google and she does it for me. And I do not stop working on that one task until my timer rings. Now, if you're anything like me, your brain keeps moving. Even though you're trying to focus on this, your brain's all over the place, right? So I keep a little pad next to me. And if something pops into my head, what I used to do was say, oh, I better get this done now because I'm going to forget if I don't do it. And then there goes my inviting, right? So what I do now is I just write it down on a quick piece of paper, jot it down, or if someone messages me or texts me, I literally swipe it away and I feel so good about it. I'm like, I'm not being distracted. I'm going to swipe it away. And then the timer will ring after 25 minutes. Take a break, go get a drink, go to the bathroom, eat something, walk around, whatever you want to do. And then start again. Everybody has a different amount of time that they dedicate to their Juice Plus business. You may have 6 hours a day. You may have 20 minutes a day. Whatever that time is, block it out, chunk it and use that timer. I promise you, it will change the way you do everything. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, the third tip. So first we're gonna say no. 2, we're gonna stop multitasking. 3, we're gonna delegate. So I joke around because it says, are you an egotistical narcissist? In other words, are you so egotistical that you can't delegate, that you think you can do everything better? Just take things off your plate. And it's funny, today I was listening to a podcast by Eric Worre, and he was talking about how much money do you want to earn? Like, what's your goal? So he was saying $1 million a year, right? So, which would be nice, yes. At $1 million a year, you earn roughly $500 an hour. So he was told by his mentor. His mentor was like, so do you mow the lawn? He's like, yeah, I mow the lawn. He's like, and how much would it cost you to pay someone to mow the lawn? He's like, oh, like $15 an hour. He's like, so you are literally losing $485 an hour every time you mow the lawn, you know? And when he looked at it that way, he was like, huh, I never thought of it that way. Granted, none of us, I don't think, are making $500 an hour consistently to $1 million a year at this point. But the idea is that sometimes it's better to delegate than it is for you to do everything. Because what happens is you don't use your time efficiently. You're busy doing other things that anyone else can do, when it's important for you to focus on what you have to shine, to offer, to help others, to make a difference, to grow your business, as opposed to my to not do list, right? To not do. We talk about to-do lists all the time. Well, what if you guys were to write a to not do list? What could you delegate? Food shopping. Guess what? I have an app on my phone. It's through Amazon Prime. I place my order, and I actually can place my orders from previous orders. In 10 minutes, I have my food shopping done. I click a button. It gets delivered to my house in 2 hours. Does it cost me $10? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. It's absolutely worth every penny for me not to have to drive to the food store, food shop, pack it, pay, like bag it, pay for it, bring it home. It's for $10, totally worth it. So I don't do that anymore. I don't food shop. Pack lunches. If you have children, have them help you. Have your spouse help you. They give them responsibility. Something like creating flyers, I do enjoy doing that. I'm not gonna lie. But I could work on a flyer for 2 hours because I'm like, oh, well, this doesn't look great. And what about this? And what about that? Do you know that you can hire a virtual assistant for like, I don't know, $20 an hour, $30 an hour to get it done? And probably in half an hour to 45 minutes, they're done. Is that $30 worth your time growing and doing something else, getting in front of prospects, meeting face-to-face with people? So think of what you can get off your list so that you can do the work that's truly important. So the next thing is to make an action plan. And action plans look very different depending on where you are in your business. But I do have a sheet, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. I can email it over. And I break it down to like a short-term goal, a medium-term goal, and a long-term goal. So for example, a short-term goal, maybe it's to have a successful soup swap this weekend, right? So that's a great goal. And when I say short-term, I mean like within a week or so. What are your action steps to achieve it? Literally, like, what are you going to do? Post on my team page that we're having it. Super easy, right? I have to do this to tell my team. Call or text the following people. Bring it up when I go to breakfast. I was having breakfast with a bunch of PTA moms. Okay, bring it up, then I'm having it. Now I'm inviting people. Give my husband a flyer to bring to school to share about it. So these are the action steps that are going to get me right to that goal. You can flip to the next one. You could do the same thing with a medium-term goal, like maybe the end of the month. Okay, my goal this month is to get married a sales coordinator. But the key is the action steps behind it. And they could be super, super simple, as like I wrote here, just look at her numbers and tell her what she's missing. Like step number 1, super basic, right? Set up 3-way calls, set up an event in her house, things that are going to get me to that goal. And you can go ahead and flip through. And same thing with a long-term goal. You get the idea. Set your goal and then do your action steps that are going to get you there. Okay, one more. We're almost done. I'm trying to rush through here. I know we're supposed to be done at 9. Okay, last one. And I can't put enough emphasis on how important it is to schedule it. I have a whole routine, like a whole ritual that I do over the week between Friday morning and Sunday night to schedule, and it doesn't take 3 days. I just do it in bits and pieces depending on how busy my schedule is and when I'm free. But before Monday morning, I have this whole routine that I do to schedule out my week and my priorities. And it's literally a whole call. It's like an hour call training just on that. But the key is this. If you show me your calendar, I'll show you your priorities. What is on your calendar? Is it all go to the gym? Well, obviously going to the gym is a priority. Is it meeting people for lunch? Then that's your priority. Maybe that's building your business. Is it all kid activities? Then that's your priority. So go back to what those priorities were. What were your goals from the beginning? What did you want? What is it that you really, truly want? And you need to plan your calendar accordingly. I can't, again, I can speak for an hour about that. Please, please take a planner, whether it's on your phone. I like a big written one. I block things out. I circle, and we can talk more about that another time, but put it on your calendar. So to quick recap, what are your priorities? Remember, big rocks first. What are those 20%? What's that 20% that's going to get you 80% yield, right? And no more than 3 priorities, because then you don't have any at all. Learn to say no. Use a timer. Delegate. Get rid of as many things as you can, right? Have you ever heard like do, delegate, dump? Either get it done, delegate it, or get rid of it. Make a clear action plan for yourself so you have those steps. And then please schedule it, you guys, because if you don't schedule it, it will absolutely not happen. All right, one last slide. And the truth is that you really, really can do anything that you set your mind to. You can, anything that you want in this business, anything you want in your personal life, you can accomplish it, but you cannot do everything, right? You can do anything, but not everything. So pick and choose what's important and then just go after that. So thank you guys so much. I tried to rush through quickly, so I'm sure you have some questions. I am happy to answer anything.
That was awesome.
Oh, thanks. Hopefully that timer has changed my life, you guys. I'm telling you, that's the way to go.
Yeah, this is exactly what I needed. Thank you. I feel
Oh,
like I try to
you're so
do
welcome.
everything all at the time. Yeah, all at the same time. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. It so doesn't work at all because you're not focusing on anything, really.
I love it, Letty. Guess what? I think Santa's putting timers in all of our stockings.
I think so. I'm telling you guys, but the thing is with the timer is you can't be like, oh, I have 5 minutes left. Let me just, you have to be like focused, like almost like those horses that wear those blinders. And so you can only see forward. You cannot move away from that. And you will be shocked at how much you can get accomplished in 4 minutes. Like, I can't even believe in 4 minutes I did I do that even when I'm cleaning up my kitchen. I raced myself. I set my timer for like 6 minutes. And then I'm like, look at that. I cleaned the whole freaking kitchen in 7 minutes, you know? Whereas if I didn't, I would have taken me half an hour because I would have been on the phone or I would have, I don't know. You know, I dilly-dally. Any dilly-dalliers out there like me? Like,
Yes, and ADDers, like you start inviting for events and an hour later you find yourself, doing laundry and painting the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm an ADDer too. So the timer has really, really helped. And scheduling it, I can go on for 5 hours about it. Literally figure out what's important to you. And you have to block it into your calendar. I have a half an hour calendar, so it's blocks. I'm trying to think of where my calendar is. I think it's downstairs. Every 30 minutes, and I make a square and I block it out. And I'm like, inviting for the next hour, or social media content for the next 45 minutes. And I block it out. And when I'm like, oh, what should I do now? I don't have to worry about it because I look at my calendar that's already planned and I think once, I plan it out over the weekend, and then I just follow it along. That's it. I don't have to think about what do I need to do. If I have 5 free minutes, I have a list of the people I want to reach out to. I don't have to think about it. It's all there. That's the key.
Do you use a paper calendar?
do. I put like my appointments and stuff in my phone because I always have my phone with me, right? And then I have a big fat paper calendar, and I put everything in there that I'm literally working on at the moment.
I'm so pleased you have a paper calendar. My husband's been picking away at me for every bit of it. And I have a big, huge one too.
Good. I love it. I do
Well,
use
my
my
phone.
phone a lot for, like I said, for appointments, like if I'm meeting someone for coffee or if I'm doing this or my kids have appointments, but then what needs to get accomplished and what time I block out for each thing has to be written out because I have to scribble all over it. I have to circle. I have to check off. Yeah. Needs to be
Cool.
I agree. I think so.
Well, awesome. Well, Leti, thank you so much for taking time to bless us. We learned so much and so grateful that you would take time out, especially in the middle of a big snowstorm out there on the East Coast.
It's no worries. It's nothing else going on in the snow. No, thank you for letting me share with you guys. If you have any thoughts or questions or you want to reach out to me, feel free to do that through Voxer or Facebook or whatever. And sorry about the technical difficulties, but we got it all squared away.
Thank you so much. You guys.
Thank you so much.
Hey, we have like 30 days in the decade left. How are you going to show up for those 30 days?
That's right.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I know. Show up nice and strong, planned with a timer. You got it?
Got it.
You're awesome, Leti. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Thank you.